Welcome to this Python training video 3, and we're continuing looking at Python as a programming language. And training 3 covers challenge 5, which looks at something called the random library, and also gets you to start programming a dice rolling game. And if you've got some time and you really want to challenge yourself, it's quite fun to create a two dice rolling program as well. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is this random library. What does that mean in terms of programming? Well, if we just go on to the internet and just talk a bit about the libraries, okay, what they allow programmers to do, okay, is there's lots of little things like importing random numbers or fractions, and Python, the people who design the software, have actually created sort of standard sort of features or little sort of standardized solutions that solve many problems. Okay, so rather than having to code a complete random number function from scratch, they've actually done it for you, and here it lists all those sort of standard sort of libraries. So here's one, there's random. So if we can add this, if we add a bit of code that says import random, it knows that behind that there's another program that has a lot of functionality built in that will help you to make things easier. I don't know if it's a bit like in Excel, Microsoft Excel, you have things like functions to help you build formulas as well. So if you want to add up a list of numbers in Excel, you can use a sum function as well. So there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of libraries, okay, that you can use in your code to help solve sort of standard issues. And we're going to look at one called random library today. Okay, so how does that actually work? Okay, so let's open up. So we opened up Python and we've gone File New, and we've got a Python GUI interface. Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to import that library into the program. So the first line is going to be import random. Okay, and that knows straight away that okay, in here we can now start using some of those features later on. Okay. And what we want to do in this program, which is a dice shaking program, okay, is basically to create a little program that mimics rolling a dice. Okay, so the first thing is let's put in like prints. Let's tell the people what this is about. Hello and welcome to my dice rolling program, because this is a program. Okay, and then what we're going to do from there is we're going to have another line. We're going to mimic the sort of shaking of the dice. So shaking, if I could actually spell, shaking the dice. Okay, you could just imagine someone just shaking the dice. Okay, and then we can just copy that, code that, so shaking, shaking, shaking the dice. Okay, then we actually need to start doing a bit of programming. Okay, basically what's going to happen if you think about sort of programming, we're going to get it to calculate a number between, or sorry, randomize a number between 1 and 6. Okay, and what we do is we need to have a variable to store that number. So we're going to call it roll. Okay, roll equals, and this is the bit that's going to be new to you. And if I just flip over to random number, how random numbers can work. You can have different types of random numbers. I mean, there are some more, but in the main, you have random.randint. Okay, randint, that's the integer. So that's random number between minimum and maximum. So it could be 1 and 12, it could be 1 and 100, it could be 10 and a million. But in this case, we're probably going to use this one Okay, we want a number, a random number between 1 and 6. This one here is something called random range. Okay, we're not going to use this today, but there might be a range of numbers that we want to create between a minimum and a maximum. Okay, exclude the maximum, but step up, so we could get like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, or random numbers. It starts at like a 7 and then goes up in 2s or 3s or whatever. Okay, and there's also the ability to do random decimals as well. So just give you a little bit of background about what other things that we can do in programming. But we're going to use this one today. Random.randint, okay, is going to generate a number between a minimum and maximum 1 and 6. Okay, so let's go into our code. So we need roll equals, okay, and we're going to put random.randint. Now if you spell this wrong, it ain't going to work. You're going to get an error message. So if you get an error message or it goes red and says something's wrong, you might just spelt something wrongly. So just go steady. Then we need a bracket 1 and then comma 6, and so that will generate, okay, a random number every time different 1 to 6. Okay, if we want it 1 to 12, we can put 1 to 12. We actually, because it's a dice, a normal dice, we do that. Now, so that's the calculating bit, that's the computing bit, and then we're going to put in print. You rolled a, okay, and obviously we need to then call that variable roll, don't we? So what will we do? Can you remember? We put a comma there and we just put in roll. Okay, does that seem okay? So we've got import random. That's the random library we're talking about. Okay, that will help us, allow us to do this. The print bit, that's all pretty easy, isn't it? And then here we've got a variable. It's called roll equals random.randint 1 to 6. So we generate a random whole number between 1 and 6. Then you rolled a roll. So let's try that. So let's go run module, and then we need to save this, don't we? Okay, so let's go to libraries, documents. It's always important to save your code. So we're going to call this number 4. I'm going to call this random dice program.py. Save that, and let's see what happens. Okay, let's just. So here is a bit. This is another program that we'll talk about in a moment. Hello and welcome to my dice rolling program. Shaking the dice, shaking the dice, shaking the dice, and so on. You rolled a 4. Now let's do it again. You rolled a 6. So we can keep testing this to make sure the random number is generating. Oh, another 6 as well. That's a good roll, isn't it? Generate again. 2. Okay, so we've got the code over here. You rolled a 2 again. It seems to be doing. Okay, I suppose it's random. There we go. You rolled a 6. Can we get anything apart from a 6 and a 2? Oh, 5. There we go. So it's always useful, okay, to make sure that it actually works. And if you've got any error messages, check that you've got all the speech marks, the bracket or the parenthesis right. You've got everything correctly spelled, and also it's got commas where there need to be commas as well. So what you then need to do is get this, okay, and your actual output, okay, that's screenshotted into your program diary. Okay, next bit is extra features. How would you make a 2 dice roll program? I'm not going to go through this. This is a bit of a challenge. What it's going to look like is this. Okay, can you see up here, this bit here? And if I just minimize this, there we go. Could you make a program that does this? It says, hello, welcome to my dice roll program. Shaking first dice. Your first dice rolled a 5. Then it says, shaking dice number 2. Your second dice rolled a 6. your rolls were 5 and 6, which equals 11. Now, no, don't be scared by this, because actually, if you think through this logically, you should be able to do all that pretty easily. This bit here might be, you might need to think about this. This one here, there's a little calculation. You have to add two things together and use the plus. So my question to you is, can you get this working? This is my challenge to you. And if you do get it working, tell your teacher. If you're struggling, just go through it logically. Don't just put your hand up straight away so it doesn't work. Have a think about what you're doing, because actually, being a good programmer, which you are, you've got to be able to think logically. So have a go at that, and when you've done that, screenshot your dice roll, your second two dice roll program in your programming diary. Okay, well, good luck with that. Hope you enjoy it, and speak to you later.